Welcome into the Warchant TV Happy Hour. Happy Libations Friday, everybody. Look at the corner pocket packed. People are ready to go. Yeah. Yes.
I think the rain drove some people inside
people are ready
from outside.
To go. People are pumped. You ready to stomp that ass tomorrow, buddy? Woo, man.
Just a dub. It doesn't have to be an ass stomping.
I want an ass stomp.
Okay, you want a 41-10 90s version?
It's been a weird week, man. It's been a weird week. First of all, look at you. Nice shirt. That's brand new.
Brand new.
It's a brand new shirt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Not an old shirt.
No, this was bought in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, imagine that. So good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Feels
I see
good.
You're celebrating with gusto, everybody.
Look, it's a mango flavor.
Oh, my Lord.
It's mango, so it is pretty hardcore.
You want some fruit?
No, it's coming later.
Gum?
It's coming later.
All right. So it is that we're at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, and we thank everybody for being out here. We thank you for watching. And let's get it started. Hey, first of all, I am a little frustrated that the flu bug hits Florida State this week because I think this is, if you look at the last 4 games, NC State's defense went from elite to average.
Right.
Pretty quick.
Well, they lost two really good players,
2
right?
great linebackers. Yeah. They lost Cyrus Fagan at safety, which whatever.
I mean, they lost 2 great linebackers.
They lost 2 great linebackers. But losing personnel has really changed the outlook for them on defense.
Yes.
And one of the things that they've given up a lot of is run yards to quarterbacks. And if Jordan Travis has the opportunity, obviously, to make plays with his legs, it's something that he does really, really well, as we both have noted. So you really cross your fingers that he's at full health. We don't know. We're not actually – a couple of things. We're not really allowed to talk about whether or not he practiced, didn't practice. We do know a lot of players have been very limited.
Yes.
And that's just the way – I mean, that's a blanket statement, but it's true. A lot of starters
– there's a flu bug, more like a flu monster going around the campus.
The entire campus. They're telling everybody in the community, by the way, and we live here in Tallahassee, to stay away. Like, don't go towards – no, not say stay away from the game. They're saying stay away from – like, they canceled the block party tonight.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they canceled all that.
CP's still rocking and rolling, though.
CP's kicking ass. But we're not
CP
on
doesn't
campus.
Care.
Yeah, the students are a mess.
The students don't come here.
Yeah. The other thing is, I would say is, I'll be over there shortly for the basketball game, the exhibition game. But, it is frustrating if you're not at full strength. And we don't know whether or not Florida State's going to be at full strength. So we'll see. Tomorrow is a day to be tuned in to warchant.com for all the updates.
Yeah.
Ira will have the binoculars out.
Absolutely.
We're doing Tallahassee Game Day, the pregame show. You guys will be telling us, hey, that he's on the field, he's not on the field, that kind of stuff. So you're going to want to be tuned into warchant.com. That's not a shameless plug. It's just the truth because we just don't know which players are going to go and which ones aren't.
Yeah, and it's a bummer either way. Like, if you've been limited, Jordan Travis doesn't have a ton of experience under his belt anyway. He needs practice time just like everybody else. It's not like he's like Chris Winkie, his last game at Florida State. He had the flu right before the Florida game. Mm-hmm. Well, it was Chris Winkie. He was 39 years old.
He played games.
Yeah, he played in the NFL for 4 years before he switched back. Like, he had a lot of experience. Jordan Travis has only played, one full season, really. Yeah. So he needs all the work he can get. And this is still a good defense. It's not a great defense.
It went from being a great defense to an average defense.
Yeah,
is what it went from.
It's, with Chubba gone, if Jordan can't go or if Jordan's limited. No, by the way, I was going to ask you. So what, if you're Mike Norvell, if Jordan Travis said, man, I feel about 40 to 45%, you say, man, you're playing. You're playing. I don't care. As long as you're above 0, you're playing.
The only thing I'd say about that is the critical aspect to his game is his ability to run and run with gusto. You're going to have to run.
Yes.
Because
if you're sick, you don't quite have the gusto.
No, he's uniquely gifted in that way, but and I'm not being an asshole. I'm just saying that he's not uniquely gifted in any other way than that he can make a lot of people miss.
Yes.
He's an elite athlete. We both agree on that. Now, if he can't do that, he's not a good enough passer to play him.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say I'd probably move on.
But then you wonder about just the whole offense changes with Milton.
No, you're going to lose the game, Corey. Yeah. The bottom line is if he doesn't play, you're going to lose the game.
Okay.
So we actually oddly agree more than we don't. It's just the circumstances are less than ideal is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, you're in trouble because McKenzie Milton, unfortunately, appears to be very damaged goods. And I hate that for him. That's not it's not a criticism. It's just a reality. And then I think we all know that Tate doesn't seem to be the guy right yet.
Sure.
So what do you do? And in the oddity, and let's talk about this. If Chubba Purdy had not announced that he was entering the transfer portal, the chances are, speculation on my part, the chances are he would have started this Saturday. So the timing for this is awful because if your starting quarterback may have missed some time this week with the flu bug, may have, we don't know. And you have a healthy Chubba Purdy, he's the one who gives you the opportunity to most resemble your current offense. And he would have started here. Now, again, I don't know who's mad at whom.
Right.
But clearly that didn't end well because my man rode out the second the Clemson game ended.
Well, I think what he must have been told, say the starting quarterback wasn't available at one of the practices. And the fifth-year senior happened to be getting the starting reps instead of Chubba Purdy. And he asked, hey, if Jordan can't go or if he's limited, am I in the plans? And they might have said, no, man, you're our third-string quarterback. He's like, all right, well, peace. I'm going to Ames or
wherever the hell he's going to
go.
The only thing I would say, though, that is, and listen, we are engaging in speculation, period. We are. And we'll acknowledge this nice individual who just ponied up some cash a moment ago in a second. But we don't know if that's what happened. And
we don't.
And there are a lot of different things that are out there right now.
Because it wouldn't make sense otherwise if he was in line.
First of all, McKenzie Milton would have deferred, oddly enough, to Chubba to play this game, I believe. He already did it once.
Yeah.
So I think he would have. I think it's something else. And I think he's probably frustrated with the way his time here at Florida State has gone down. And that's not to me, that's not a reflection on Mike Norvell. It's that sometimes shit happens. My man got hurt.
Yeah.
Then the surgery happened. Then he had an infection and a setback and had to start all over. Then he went home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just never gotten off the ground here. And I think probably frustration is mounted. Who knows in the modern game today who's reached out to him?
Right.
Who has said, hey, we've got a spot for you. You're going to be behind AJ Duffy next year. You're going to be behind Jordan Travis next year. If you're tired
Spencer
of
Rattler.
No. If you're tired of sitting, we got you.
Right.
We really do value your skill set. I mean, we don't know that, but this is the modern college football landscape where you just debate these things. You wonder aloud, you speculate. We all do it. But clearly something happened.
Yeah.
It's odd
timing, right?
Yeah,
maybe it's not as odd anymore as it would be 10
back
years
in the
ago.
day,
but
yeah.
maybe
Well, he would have started tomorrow is my point.
You have to race into the portal now because you know some of the other people are going to be in the portal. You're like, hey, I'm in here too. Like,
here's my
it's almost
chance.
after you get to the front of the line to let people know you're available. And kids don't want to wait until middle of December anymore, like back in the day.
Yeah, so, it's unfortunate. I'm not saying he was the answer. I'm not telling you he's that great a player. I don't know. I mean, he never looked good to me in practice. It is what it is. But at the same time, that's a guy that would have had a chance, I think, to play tomorrow. He doesn't now, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, cross your fingers. We're not telling you that Jordan Travis is not going to play. We're just telling you that there's a chance Jordan Travis doesn't play tomorrow. So,
yeah.
I mean, you just cross your fingers and without him, I do think it's a loss. I'll just tell you that. I don't think they win without Jordan Travis tomorrow.
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, Milton would. I don't even know what the offense would look like. It looks so different than it's.
The threat of Jordan's legs changes everything about what you can do with your two running backs. It's a math game, and defenses have to account for it. So,
but maybe he plays and totals 340 yards. And that's the thing. Louisville only scored 13 on them, but had almost 450 yards of offense. I don't know what happened in that game, but
Red Zone
State's giving up yardage.
Good. Red zone defense was real good. The other thing is they were able to, again, the quarterback runs were very successful for Louisville in that game. So it's tough. Who was the kind soul that contributed to our
We want to thank Thomas because Thomas donated with the there's another one that just popped up now. It says, congratulations to the Braves. There's a lot of that on the chat right now.
Buddy.
People are happy for you. And Eric Angel from the top rope
Always.
with a sizable contribution to the program.
Thank
we thank
you,
you.
Eric, you're the man. You know that. Wish you're here, buddy.
Yeah. He's saying hello to everybody.
And, it is cool. Like, even Bill, I know he was just giving me grief a second ago. He's a Mets fan, but I feel like there is a camaraderie among sports fans, even rivals. When a team like the Braves hasn't won in so long and you have friends that are Braves fans, you truly do feel good for them, right? Right?
Yeah, no,
I felt good for you when the Bucks won.
I called you.
You did.
And congratulated you. And
you called me a few names, but that's because of my viewing habits. But
I teased you. I did. But I was happy for you. I was happy for my buddy Kobe up in Atlanta, who's been a lifelong Braves fan. I think anybody in this area certainly knows a ton of Braves fans. And if you're close to them, like I'm close to you, then you're happy for those guys that have been loyal fans.
I say that football doesn't really do that, though, right? Like, especially college football. You have Gator fans. You're not going to call them and congratulate them if they were to win a championship.
No,
again.
I tell them to go to hell.
Yeah. You cheated.
No, but I did feel that because baseball's so effing hard.
Yeah.
The best team
Trust
doesn't
me.
always win.
Right.
I don't think they won this year. But
Hey, man,
hey, just saying.
Okay. Hey, I'm actually cool with that. There are plenty of times the Braves were a better team and lost.
That's
so
correct.
It feels
That's
good.
correct. Yeah, so it feels good, right? But it happens, and we know how hard it is to win a championship. I think that the entire nation will probably feel good for me when the Pirates win the World Series.
I mean, when is
I'm
that going to
86
happen?
years old.
We won't even be living on this earth.
Pulled me aloft.
We'll have to inhabit another planet.
They did it for Jeff.
Yeah, right. 22-19 when they get good again. Hey, speaking of baseball real quick, I know it's a mainly football show, but shout out to Buster Posey, an all-time great career, an all-time great Seminole. It's really cool to see somebody retire at the top of their game when they choose to go out on their own, as opposed to the game forcing them out.
Yeah.
That's really neat to see. Now, I know he's got some physical ailments, but my man hit 305 as a rookie in 2010. And in his 12th year, his last year, 34, he hit 304. That's Buster for you, man.
And hit a huge home run in the postseason and everything else. Something to note here. I think that when you look at Buster Posey's career and we get into debate about was it long enough to make the Hall of Fame or not, whatever. The point is that discussion in and of itself is awesome, right?
Yeah.
It's just a cool thing that a guy that played here and it was that caliber of player. But did you notice all the former players that have played with him, and whether it was college or pro, and all the analysts and people that have ever had the good fortune of covering him and interviewing him? I mean, it is 100% love for Buster Posey. You will not – rare is the athlete that didn't ruffle feathers with somebody.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing, but it is remarkable that you have 100%. It is unanimous. There's nobody that has something negative to say.
Yeah. Barry
In addition
Zito,
to his greatness, there's nobody that has anything negative to
and
say
they all
about
came out on Twitter unsolicited. And Barry Zito wrote a long Twitter thread about what Buster meant to him and the team, and it's just echoed by everyone. And he was crazy. That as a 20-year-old at Florida State. Yeah. I mean, Meek talked about that. He carried himself like he was a 35-year-old as a 20-year-old.
Well, because he viewed the game of baseball solely as something that he knew he was very, very good at, and he was grateful for it. You know, I remember talking to him one time, and he was just saying, like, I've always just been able to hit.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a hell of a thing to say because hitting is very hard.
Yes.
And he has said, I've always just been able to hit. I've always been able to. Now, he worked hard at his craft, but what he didn't do was assume that because he could hit, he was better than all the rest of us.
Right.
He was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just a humble guy. Like, I can really hit, and I'm going to go do this
like
because I'm good at it. And it's kind of like, you know, I've always just been a great broadcaster.
Right. It's not. It doesn't make you more special than anyone else.
That's
it's
right.
like me and writing.
It's just a unique talent.
Yeah, it's something I was born with. I can write. It's fine.
What are you going to do?
It's fine.
And you owe it to the world to write, and I owe it to the world to be a broadcaster.
Well, I feel like
that's
Buster kind of robbed us a little bit. And it will be interesting about his Hall of Fame candidacy. I think he's in. I mean, he's a 7-time All-Star. He's going to be a 5-time Silver Slugger and a 3-time World Champ. But, yeah, his numbers aren't – I mean, it's 158 home runs. That's not a lot. But that position –
requires so much
hard
more
to define.
Yeah, I think.
He's been the best catcher in the league, you know, in totality for the last decade. I feel like that should be enough to.
He's certainly been one of the 3 best at his position.
Yeah, I guess
for a
him
long
and
time.
Molina's going to get in too, right?
Yeah, well, Molina will get in easily, but one thing to note there.
And Darno.
It has
World
been
champ Darno.
a rather nebulous thing with the world with the Hall of Fame. It's decade by decade, and the standards seem to shift. One guy who had a shortened career gets in, another guy who played twice as long with better numbers doesn't. It's very strange. If he needs goodwill to push him over the top, he's certainly got that. I mean, there's no doubt he's got enough goodwill. He didn't piss off the writers. He didn't piss off fellow players. He didn't piss off people in the game. Plus, those numbers are what they are. A lot of it is that at least baseball aficionados who vote on these things now have decided to take into account if you are a postseason giant and you win individual awards in addition to winning an MVP of a World Series, and you are the comeback player of the year, and you're on World Championship teams, man, that adds to what your overall resume is. Yeah. Because the overall resume, as an aside, just numbers speaking, is not Hall of Fame worthy. It's the Hall of Good.
Yeah.
He was really good. But you add those other elements, I think it does probably push them over the top. At least I hope so.
Yeah, I think it will. And then on the football side, you think Anquan has a chance. Leroy Butler, hopefully one day. Warwick Dunn, maybe. I think Warwick Dunn probably doesn't get
Tom's king of the Warwick Dunn.
But I would be all about it. I mean, it would be cool if what he did off the field would come into play. I mean, I know it shouldn't, but you're allowed to let it.
He also changed. By the way, he was one of the first at that position to, you got to modernize the game. He caught so many passes out of the backfield.
It's like Kamara.
Right, yeah, and he way before any of those guys, right? He did that. So it's like Dawkins and all these other guys that later on did it. Warwick was doing it before most of them. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, this White Claw goes pretty quick, my man.
Yeah, just runs through that sucker. Imagine if you drank something with substance, you'd be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, this is good, man.
Take your time with it.
That's good.
Sip it a little bit.
That's really good stuff.
So it's a cold and rainy night in Tallahassee, and we have great uncertainty as to whether or not, I don't know, half the team's going to play.
Yeah.
So if you're watching in the market from afar, first of all, thank you. But secondly, our heads are in the clouds here. We don't know. We're just uncertain of what to think about the game. It's hard to break down a game when you don't know who's going to play. If Florida State's at full strength, they have a chance.
Yeah.
If they're not, I don't know how you win this game because NC State does not make a lot of mistakes. Their quarterback, Leary, has all of 2 interceptions. One of them is the end of a game Hail Mary. The other one is in garbage time. He really doesn't make a lot of mistakes, so you have to earn it. It's hard to earn it if you don't have all your starters. So we'll see.
This will be the first time in a long time where you really will get there, or I'll even get there early. Ira's always there. He's there at 9 a.m. But I'll get there early to see, like, who's available because you're going to have to count, okay, who's missing. You're going to have to go through every position group to see who exactly is missing. It's kind of like last year in a way. Obviously, a different illness. But
every week we did that last year.
It's kind of like that because this is, it's kind of running rampant through Tallahassee right now, or at least through the campus. So you hope that they're getting fluids in them. They're getting IVs, whatever you got to do for the.
Certainly there was talk of IVs this week. You never want to hear that on game week, but yes.
Yeah. So, but they have a, if they're healthy-ish, they certainly have a chance. This isn't a great NC State team, and they've lost their 2 best defensive players. So
that's the biggest part is they went from being a top 30 defense to a top 75 defense without those players. So
what do you think? You got to get to 30 to have a chance, right? Probably.
Yeah, it's somewhere in that neighborhood, 27, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So you got to get to 30, and it's you've got to hope that you have most of your guys.
If you're going to get to 30, it means Jordan Travis is playing.
Yes. Yeah. He could, man. He could. He definitely could.
They are a team. It's so weird because if we just talk about what's left on the schedule and where the collective mindset is in assessing this team, there's still so much on the line for a 3-5 team.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, right? And what I mean is the way you feel about this group in this season can shift dramatically with 2 more wins. Any 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Any 2 wins.
Yeah.
If they win 5 games in a year in which they started 0-4, I think most people they'll lament the Jacksonville State game because we will lament that forever. But if you win 5 games after that debacle of a beginning,
right,
people will feel good about the team,
especially with the teams you got coming up. I mean, you got 2 of your rivals. You got a team that's in the top 20. If you can win 2 of these 4, I know Boston College is the one you almost want to pencil in as a win. I don't think you're in any position to do that now as a program, but that seems like the most winnable. But all of them are winnable.
Yeah.
They're all losable, too. That's the issue.
They absolutely could lose every one of those games. And you just don't know, like, if we're going to go from back to front, like, Florida, where's their head? Do they care to play? I mean, it's a rivalry game at the end of the year. We'll see. Miami is.
They'll probably get fired up to play for that guy, don't you think, to try to save Mullen's job?
I doubt that. But I will tell you that obviously Miami has found something.
Yes.
Van Dyke is throwing it around the lot. They're playing good football.
Van Testaverde is what I call him. Van Kozar.
Back-to-back wins over top 20 teams. And then, unfortunately, the rumor is Boston College may get their quarterback back. And
what? I thought he was out for the year.
Yeah, you and me both. But it sounds like he may come back. And if that happens, that's a problem because he was good.
Yeah.
And then now you have this game, which is a kind of a, I don't want to say coin flip. NC State's favored and Florida State's dealing with the flu. But, I mean, certainly it's a winnable game. You hold your breath, Corey, because if they lose out, it's like that 3-game win streak would be a very, very distant memory. And I can't help but think, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. But if they do lose out, and I'm not, again, I doubt that'll happen. Are they really going to be able to hold that class?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first off, if they lose out, the Atlanta Braves will still be the world champs.
That is true.
Understand that. But again, it matters how we talk about it all the time, but it's the truth. I think the record, clearly, if these guys haven't decommitted yet, the record isn't overly concerning to them because they started out 0-4. They're now 3-5, so they're not committing to a winning program.
Yeah, they're 3-1 of their last four games. Right?
Yeah, 3-9. A 4-game losing streak to end it would be rough, or I guess that'd be a 5-game losing streak. Yeah, that'd be tough to sell. But if it's not, you're losing 40-6. If you're out there competing and playing hard, you do get to sell. Look how close we are. You put us over the top. You put us over the top. You can't sell that.
I would also
it's hard to sell if you're losing 40-6 though.
Well, and I would also say, to your point, you make a great point. If Florida State loses out, the Bucks won the Super Bowl last year. And I think it's important to know that the Lightning have won back-to-back Stanley Cup championships.
Yeah.
So regardless if they lose out, there's championships all in this.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
We're just knocking championships away. We're so tired of all these damn championships.
So that's fine. So we still feel all right about things.
Yeah.
And but that was another thing that got me thinking when the Braves finally won it again.
Got the Super Bowl champion.
No, but just how fun it is for a fan base to cheer for a team like that and how cool it would be. I mean, it's been 5 years now since this team was legitimate going into a season feeling okay about it. Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of sucks, man. It's a lot cooler to write about, watch, talk about a team that's good. So we're all hoping that recruiting class stays intact and they add some to it. And then a year or two from now, with the portal in play, you maybe not talking about a championship team, but you're talking about a team that's 8 wins, man, 9 wins. That's something.
Well, and this is a league that proves time and again that it's gettable.
It ain't hard to get in to win 8 games in this league, man.
It's a gettable league if you've got a semblance of competence and some decent starters. You can win 8-9 games.
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, anybody would have thought Wake Forest team was going to be 9-0?
Right, and at that time, they had one of, if not the worst, offensive lines in the country. Certainly, we were in the conversation as well. But I mean, that's how quickly you can turn around. You get some dudes, you build them up, you develop them, and a couple years later, you're winning 8-9 games. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely true. The quarterback room's got to get better and more competitive. You need more people competing for that job, so we need that to happen as well. And then obviously they got to find a way to bring in some receivers here, whether that's transfer portal or the recruiting class or both, obviously. So they've got a long way to go. this is an eminently likable group. We've talked about it a lot on headlines. I know you've talked about it on Wake Up Warchant. I've talked about it on the Jeff Cameron Show. Ira's written about the bottom line is this is a likable group because they do fight. Yeah. They have shown up. They've been knocked down and they got back up. They have continued to play hard. So you want a team like this to have a measure of success. I didn't like that team that lost at Virginia a couple years ago. When I went to see that game, I was at that game. They came, they had nothing to brag about, and they came running out and immediately taunted the Virginia fan base where the student section was. I was like, what are you doing?
They had just put up 45 on Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, of course, that's what it was. So it was the silliest thing. I was like, well, this is why people hate us, and for good reason. And then we went out and lost that game in wonderfully dramatic fashion at the end, not knowing what we were doing. Sure. But all of that just, you didn't hurt for them. You hated to lose as a fan, but you didn't hurt for them. I kind of hurt for these guys. I want these guys to have success. There's so many really likable dudes on this team right now.
Yeah, agreed. Better than a likable team is a talented team.
Well, sure, but you got to work to that point.
Right now that's what you got, and I do think that as you get more talented, the likability will stay because I think that's how they coach these guys. They don't coach prima donnas. Is that a word we use still?
You can use that.
And it's not spelled PRE Madonna. No, for all you folks out there.
Yeah.
But
there's an I in that.
There's an I in there. Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Maybe just one in. But what they've laid, the groundwork they've laid, if you can build some talent on this foundation, this concrete slab you've laid, you can be a talented, likable, tough-nosed team that when you're playing, so that toughness doesn't show when you're playing a 4-4 team. It shows when you're in a playoff game against the equally talented team. That's what you hope happens.
Tom, you were going to jump in here and let us know something?
Yeah, well, before I do, and we got somebody to thank, Prima Donna is Jeff Cameron at your childhood, I believe. That's Prima Donna.
Prima Donna?
Yeah, that would be Prima Donna.
Fair enough, yeah.
Paul has donated a sizable, no comment, no question. So, Paul, if you've got one, go ahead and send it.
Thanks, Paul.
A sizable thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Paul.
P. Dizzle.
And then kind of a beautiful comment, I got to be honest.
Really?
This is it's kind of a serious one. Julia writes in a comment. She's pulling into Tallahassee right now. She's bringing her 78-year-old mom, who has been a season ticket holder since Bill Peterson, and this will be her last game that she's going to. So,
wow.
Julia, welcome to Tallahassee, and welcome to your mother as well to Tallahassee.
Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah. Oh, man. How do I follow up on that? Hugs.
That prima donna was your childhood.
Yeah.
That's the period. It's like BC, and
let's hope it's good weather tomorrow. What's the weather supposed to be like?
Well,
this dreary.
Oh, really?
Soupy.
So that's not good.
A little soupy.
Maybe Devin Leary's not a mutter. Maybe he doesn't throw well in the rain.
I tend to think that inclement weather helps our team if Jordan Travis is in the game. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you run the ball. I mean, take away the other team's passing game. I want it as ugly as possible. I want wind and rain and a slippery track.
Because you won't be there. You'll be there, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
You want to sit there?
You love to just throw that out there, but I'll be there,
I mean, I just wouldn't
sit in the
think you'd want
stands like
that.
a man. I'm there cheering my team on, buddy. I'm not up there in the cool press box, chilling out, hanging out. No, I'll be
eating my
out there.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
not seeing anything because you can't see through the glass. Yeah, that's probably right. If the weather's bad, I assume that evens it out a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think it just becomes a low-scoring game, and that's what Florida State has to try to win.
Remember back in the day when Florida State was really, really good, and you're like, please don't rain.
Yeah.
Please don't even know. Don't level the field. Don't level the playing field at all. Don't let this happen.
Yeah, you always thought that inclement weather helped the opposing team because you had electrifying athletes everywhere, and they were going to be slowed down. So I root for that every week. Even though I'll be sitting in the stands tomorrow, I do root for that every week to see some sort of just ugly, muddy game. We want to run the ball. Yeah. Atkins is really good at creating angles for his blockers to overcome. That's what you want to do. We'll see. Again, everything really does depend in a lot of ways because they're so singular in what they can do on whether or not Jordan Travis is capable of playing and using his legs in this game. You just got done seeing Louisville's quarterback run for over 70 yards against NC State.
Yeah.
And he made that an interesting game because of it. So you talk about two linebackers being out. You talk about a defense that goes from top 30 to top 60-ish. You don't have those guys. You can make this a game if you're able to run the ball with your quarterback. If you cannot and you have to drop back pass, Florida State is not equipped to win that football game. We got another – oh, I saw you.
I was just signaling that reinforcements are on the way for your beverages.
That's
good.
Cool.
Nice. I got another white claw.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you make sure it was the mango?
See, this is it's off camera, but this is the sign for tips. And Here comes it.
There it is.
Yeah, there's the guy. There's the guy. Hook up some mango for me.
Hooked him up for some little mango white claw there. Get a cupcake for Corey while we're here.
Hey, come on, man.
A little
That would be nice to
moment.
celebrate.
That's fair. So how's the week gone, buddy?
It's good, man. It's good. It feels weird. Are
you still euphoric?
Yeah. It feels like the parade was today, so I watched that. It was on MLB
Network. Did you see the footage of your boy just riding out in the parade? I'm going to show you this here.
Well, just tell me what you mean.
No, I'm talking about the person driving one of the vehicles.
Oh, yeah, I did. But
it's going like 70 miles per hour. What the hell are we doing?
The players aren't on that bus. That should be noted. It's like
it was a very dangerous endeavor. There it is, Braves Parade, right there up on the big tree.
Yeah, it was awesome. And they had speeches at the end when they went to Truist Park, and Freddie had a great speech. But then afterwards, Dansby's like, "Hey, this is for you guys, Atlanta. We love you guys. Oh, and this might get me in trouble, but re-sign Freddie." And
shouldn't get him in trouble.
Every player that took the mic after that said the same thing. So let's hope that happens.
What's really cool, by the way, is it is seldom.
It's cool to have a parade on a street, too, and not on some waterway where your quarterback's just throwing the trophy everywhere.
I think most people would vote the waterway an infinitely cooler parade, my friend, especially when the Lombardi trophy's being thrown around. That's what it is.
Yeah. These are homegrown guys like
Soler. They're all
Soler and Rosario. Homegrown guys.
The MVP. He's ours. Yeah.
We've had him for 2 months.
So one thing I would say is, and it makes me laugh, because Freddie Freeman is one of the great guys in the world of sports.
Yeah.
And everybody knows his backstory. Everybody knows what a great player he's been for a very long time in Atlanta. This was my
He's like our Buster, honestly. He's like Braves fans' Buster.
Yeah. It was my favorite part of you guys winning the World Series because it is so seldom that you see a celebrated good guy that is rooted in the franchise, came up with the franchise, drafted by the have that kind of success and is universally beloved.
Yeah.
And play well while it happens. So in addition,
thank you very much,
and that is
Jamie.
the greatest starter jacket of all
Tom Lane's
time.
better half.
Not only did it happen, but it happened that he played well.
Yes.
Like a lot of times it's kind of an afterthought, like, oh, well, the good guy got one, but he didn't really contribute. Freddie played awesome.
Yeah, and it was a little different than Buster because Buster won his so quickly, as a rookie.
Yeah.
Freddie been around for a decade, 12 years, I think, until he finally won one, and been in a lot of postseasons.
Life. Yeah.
So that was really cool.
It would have been like if Andrew McCutcheon could have won one in Pittsburgh, buddy, you would have felt the same way.
Not the same. He's not Freddie Free. Actually, McCutcheon seems like a really good dude too,
and also won the MVP and was a great player.
Yeah, a very good player.
Just
but
go ahead, dismiss me.
Pirates don't
possible.
Pirates don't pay their players though.
Yeah, we won 98 games that year, pal.
I know, but you didn't pay him.
Some
He's still not there.
88 wins. we actually.
So you think about like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if this program can be where we hope it is, you could have guys like, I don't know. I know Kevin Noles isn't the Freddie Freeman of Florida State football, but it would be really cool for these guys that joined at the absolute bottom level of Florida State football to experience that kind of success 3 and 4 years from now.
What do you think? Honestly, you're bringing up a fun point here because we debate this all the time. I get a ton of emails on this and tweets and everything. You do
Even
too.
Brownlee seems like a real. I mean, he plays hard,
and he's gonna. Yeah, I love that kid.
I don't know how great he's gonna be, but he plays hard. He plays every down. He played more downs than anybody on the team.
Oh no, I love him.
And he gave up that horrible play at the end of a game, but he hasn't let that define who he is. And wouldn't it be really cool for him 2 years from now to be standing up on a stage? I don't even care if it's a stage in Shreveport, holding up the MVP of the Independence Bowl.
I care that it's not a stage.
I very much care that it's not that.
Yeah.
But for him to have a good finish to his career, that's really cool to see because these freshmen that are on this team, joined and believed in a program that they had no business joining or believing in.
So this is the debate. This is the fun discussion, and it's hard in season because you're just watching game to game, looking for progress. But what is realistic? Like Kevin Noles is a freshman. So I think the first time that you can expect that guy is holding up any sort of trophy in any way, shape, or form is his senior year. Like that, it's not next year and it's not the year after.
Well, like a bowl.
Away.
He could hold up a bowl trophy, but you're talking about a championship. Yeah, well, probably be a senior. They could be much better next year depending on the portal, and certainly 2 years from now, depending on what they look like. Both offensively and defensively, but yeah, probably.
I guess the portal changes all of that. I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a 5-year fix anymore.
But it's a 3-year. Yeah, I mean, I really do think it's going to take a considerable.
Competing for a championship, yeah, that would have to be his senior year.
People tend to get, I think,
especially if Clemson is plummeting to the bottom of a lake.
Well, we hope.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happens that I've seen this year, for example, is. You look at Mel Tucker and the great job he's done at Michigan State in year 2.
Yeah.
And you look around and people will say, well, these guys do it. This guy's doing it. Again, you got to remember 3 coaching staffs in 4 years.
Yes.
It's a different deal than just taking over a program that's down and then suddenly, 2 years later having success. This is down, turmoil, toxicity in the locker room. Guy leaves after failing to even recruit. Followed by next guy comes in, oops, we made a bad decision, isn't getting it turned around, firing him, making a decision to do that, you're starting over again. 3rd guy, first year COVID. Yeah, that's a lot to overcome, man.
It's been a tough journey. It's been a tough road.
A really brutal journey. But I'm just saying there's an extra layer.
Yeah.
That people don't want to consider when they see successes elsewhere. Hey, if he fails, we'll say it.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I do think it's worth injecting in there that there's another layer to all this, that they started over a 3rd time, basically.
Yeah, and again, if they're good 2 years from now, a guy like Kevin Noles is somebody that you should really feel like proud. I guess there's a pride in there that, he's a good player, number one. But the fact that he will have started for 3 or 4 years on a program that, lost to Jacksonville State, and then if you project 2 years from now, maybe they're winning 9 games and challenging for the ACC Atlantic. That's cool for that journey to happen, man. That's not a journey that Florida State players usually go on. They usually come here when they're good, and they leave when they're good. This has been something new the last 5 or 6 years. But these guys, these new guys, this class that he just had, hopefully this next class that's coming in, is the ones that really build it up. And they can take real pride in building up a program back to where it needs to be.
Oh, in many ways, they'll be beloved in a way that people who come into an already existing championship culture never could be.
Yeah.
So if you are to build something truly special by the time you leave here after walking into this disaster,
Yeah.
you'll
That's
be
why-
loved forever.
Yeah,
I mean,
they'll
Florida State
build
fans will look
statues of
back
you. They'll,
and- I mean,
they'll have a
people-
mural of you.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have a Kevin Knowles mural, but I would say
You
that.
could have a Travis Hunter mural.
But well, you could.
Yeah,
You could.
we get whatever he wants.
I do think people will look at this group, anybody that's here 4 years from now when this thing is successful, if they came in on the front end, they'll be beloved.
Yeah.
You talk about taking the same way, like, I think in a lot of ways, we look at that Jimbo group after 2009, and we're just amazed that those guys bought in.
Yeah.
And that the fact that they did and went on to win
Well,
the
you think
championship, we'll
about-
love them forever.
Look, LaMarcus Joyner was a great player, and people loved what he did on the field. The extra layer to him is what he meant to the program just by signing with Florida
Just
State.
by saying yes.
That will always put him even a level above some other really good players on that team because people remember him being the first guy to sign, the first guy to say yes to Jimbo, and what that ended up meaning 3 years from now. I don't know if Travis Hunter's going to mean a championship 3 or 4 years from now, but it means something, and he'll always be if he has the career he's supposed to have and stays, stays on his firm to his commitment.
Stays 3 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man. And it is something, hopefully Norvell takes this clip right now and sends it to Hunter. It's like,
says,
yeah, you go to
be
Georgia.
loved.
You go to
You will be
Georgia.
loved.
They don't even know your name. Oh,
Yeah.
the other 5-star corner?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Oh, what's your name again?
Yeah.
Travis Smith?
Yeah.
But at Florida State, it does mean something right now, and that
Sure.
is something that there've been better DBs in the history of Florida State than LaMarcus Joyner, plenty, but he's still up there at the very top echelon because of what he meant to the program.
Because of the commitment at the time when there was reason to say no.
Sure.
So a quick question. In 3 years' time, 4 years' time, how big is the playoff going to be? So would that change the goalposts about what is a successful
Yeah,
season?
man, you could get. I think it's gonna be 12, right? And yes, I think a one-loss ACC team definitely gets into a 12-team playoff, and maybe even a 2-loss depending on what the loss.
Yeah.
Apparently Florida State's going to play. They want to play the Cowboys to start a
Alabama,
season like
LSU,
that. Yeah,
Georgia, throw them all in there.
I do think that changes, and that's what I wrote when the 12-team playoff started. Was like people say, what does it matter? It's still going to be It's still going to be Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State there at the end. I'm like, well, yeah, but you can sell to people we are a playoff team. Like right now, there's 7 teams Cincinnati has no shot, right?
It doesn't appear so.
Yeah, and
I
they're
think the committee has sent an overriding message.
well, they do have a shot with the 12-team playoff, so that would help them recruit. Not Clemson this year, but Wake would have a shot. Wake has no shot, probably. They're number 9, right? They have no shot of making the playoff.
If they went out, I suppose.
Maybe,
I mean,
but
these are some
probably
things that
not. They
happen,
would.
yeah.
Their schedule would be held against them because they didn't beat anybody. But with a playoff, they can say, "Look, we're a playoff team. We're top 12." I just think it gets more teams included in the mix. Maybe not to win a championship, but only one team wins a championship. It opens it up instead of 6 teams competing for playoff spots. It's 20 to 25 teams competing for playoff spots. You can be one of those 20 teams in 3 years. I think.
Probably. The portal makes it the great unknown. I mean,
Yeah.
because I would tell you, if it were just through recruiting, I don't think they can get there in 3
But
years.
it's not that. It's not that anymore.
That. You are correct. It's not that. If you get a Jermaine Johnson, the way Florida State did this year,
Yeah.
and say you get 2 of those at critical positions, yeah, it does change everything.
Or Chubba Purdy. Get him back.
No, I don't want you.
Oh, you don't want him back now?
No, he sucked every time we saw him in practice. And B,
Here we go. You were being a little more polite when the show started.
I'm just saying. Well, I don't know about being polite. I was just saying I don't know why.
No, it's not. It's
I'm not
probably not.
gonna
It
do it.
didn't appear to be a huge loss.
No, it didn't look good there. So.
That's what beer does. Beer brings out the honesty in all of us.
Well, listen, I would not necessarily be vitriolic towards him just for choosing to transfer, because if you can't beat out Jordan Travis, and again, I know that's your hero, but if you can't beat out Jordan Travis and they're recruiting over you with AJ Duffy, which every coach recruits over players,
Yeah.
and there's a chance that there's a transfer portal guy coming in,
Yes.
and you think, I'm not going to play, okay, I don't begrudge you if you want to leave. It's just that he never gave them a reason to believe that he should start or be in the game to begin with. He was never good in practice. He was hurt half the time he was here, which is not his fault, but it happens. So, I'm supposed to feel bad for that guy? I mean, I don't.
Nobody's
have a
asking you
good-
to feel bad for him.
Have a good day. And I don't have nice things to say.
All right, man. Cool.
There you go. Hey, good luck, though.
Good luck. Good luck.
though.
Godspeed. Have a
good
great
luck,
career.
buddy. Do well
Just
for
get
yourself.
out of this city.
Follow your brother to Ames and be average.
A housekeeping note from our pillar, Eric Angels. Shane and Michelle are on the way. Other pillars in the organization, Warchant
Yes,
TV.
absolutely.
And secondly, I want to know personally. I didn't hear it on headlines. Maybe you discussed it on headlines, Corey. Where were you when you heard the Braves won the World Series? Because you had to be notified like it was 1924. Where were you? And were you close to tearing up? Were you close to tearing up?
I wouldn't say I was. Yeah, I was close probably. So I was keeping track on Twitter, but only on the Braves Twitter. You can't just scroll down your timeline. That's what was that? There's all these nonsensical.
Terrible base running mistake.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to know that.
I don't know if that's true or not. You could be an asshole.
So I just update the Braves Twitter account. And so I saw Soler hit the home run. And then,
you saw that.
I mean, I saw it on Twitter.
By the way, that home run's worth watching 100 times over.
There's no way that was only 446 feet.
It's insane.
I mean,
how far he hit that
landed
ball.
in Dallas.
Also, there's like anger, the likes of which was born in childhood.
Yeah,
I mean, the way that he
like
hit
somebody
that ball,
beat him with baseballs when he was a kid.
My God, what he did to that baseball.
So eighth inning, we get done watching Succession. I see the Braves are up.
Good show, by the way. I'm proud of you for watching this.
Stephanie and I. So I go take a shower because I'd already taken an hour walk. I get out of the shower. I see it's 7-0.
So let me ask you a quick question. While you're showering, washing your bald head, because I have experience with it.
Right,
so
yeah.
I know what it is. So while you're showering, washing your bald head, which we do, by the way. People ask us that, but I wash my bald head.
I wash it with soap. Do you wash it with shampoo?
No. I take a loofah and I scrub the bejesus out of it.
Oh
yeah,
I don't do that.
Self-hate. But the thing is, so I get after it. When you're doing that, are you thinking, I wonder what the score is? I wonder if we're winning. I wonder if we're choking this away.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm scared to look at it. My phone is going nuts. I can tell I'm getting a bunch of texts.
Oh, because everybody's going, hey, dude, you may want to watch it 7-0.
Or they're saying, oh, my God, we're going to blow this. Like, I don't know what the texts say, so I'm not reading those.
Well,
so anyway, to answer your question, it was 7-0, ninth inning. I started another walk out of my driveway.
Watch the ninth? Did you think they would blow a 7-run lead?
Of course I did.
But that's so goddamn irrational.
Of course it is.
It's baseball.
I know, but still, things happen. So I'm walking out of my driveway, and then I see that the Braves are World Series champions, and I sprint back into the house and
rewatch the whole game.
No, she definitely turns it on. I watch the celebration, and we come up here and celebrate.
You should have watched the whole game.
I played celebration. I played Cool in the Gang when I got in.
There you
All
go.
7 people in here that night. It was a Tuesday night. It wasn't a great crowd.
People were feeling it.
Yeah, they got after it.
They came over and hugged you by the jukebox.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's where I was. But
have you since gone back to watch the entirety of that game?
No, I've watched the highlights though. I watched out by out, so that's what I could do. And I'm done with it. It's not going to be like that ever again. I got it out of my system.
So one good thing, Tom, to point out, I called Corey. We were talking. And I said to him, so that's it, right? You're not going to be a bitch ever again. And he agreed he would not.
No, I don't. I got it. I got at least for another 25 years. I'm fine.
So no matter what happens. Now, listen, I'm holding to this.
No, I won't. I promise I won't.
Because if the Falcons get back to the Super Bowl and have a 28-3 lead.
I can't make promises on that.
And then all of a sudden somehow give up the greatest comeback in the history of sport, he can't get upset about it. He just has to be like, oh, well, them's the breaks.
Yeah. I still remember Rosario.
It happens. We won.
Yeah, like in 5 years from now, let's say you climb that mountain in the NFL. It's the fourth quarter. 21-17 Falcons. Justin Herbert has the ball for the Chargers. Are you going to watch that or are you going to walk out of the way?
No, because he doesn't care. He's got a championship.
I got my championship.
Now,
I'm good now.
I will say there is something to that, and you can agree with this. With the Lightning winning back-to-back, and we're both diehard Lightning fans, the Bucks now have not one but 2 Super Bowl championships, soon to be 3, everybody. So here we are, like just swimming in championships. And the Noles have 3.
Yeah.
And I went to all 3.
So there has to be people watching this right now.
At some point,
that when Jameis got the ball with 1:15 left or whatever it was, there has to be somebody watching this or listening to this that didn't want to watch or couldn't watch or watched
but
their eyes.
You know what they did, though? They overcame.
Well, they're stronger than I am. I'm not arguing that.
They understood it's the nature of fandom, right? And that your great reward for sticking it out is to watch that ending.
But those Auburn fans wish they'd have just been checking their Twitter.
Yeah, they're Auburn
fans.
So they knew they didn't deserve to be in that game. At that point, it was all gravy.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, they were 15 tip passes.
But it is crazy how sports can do that to you. Where like I have been like that my whole life. Where if I'm watching a game and things are going well, and then let's say Shanna had walked in the room, and then they give up a 70-yard touchdown. I'm like, you've got to leave.
You have got to leave.
You've got to
now,
leave
I will say this. I have done this, and I know you have too. And I bet everybody out there has too. I tease you about being superstitious, and I'm not at all. But if things are going poor, I do the thing, and the old school me would have gone and physically changed the channel because I'm old. That actually, there was a time in my life where you physically had to change the channel with your hand.
Yeah, I read books on that.
Yeah. I would go and change the channel and wait 5 minutes and then change it back.
Oh,
with the belief that something good could happen.
So everybody's got a little crazy in them.
Yeah,
it just doesn't bubble to the surface like mine.
Or I'll mute it.
Yeah, I do that
could just
too.
mute it and walk into the kitchen and do something.
Like if Joe Buck's announcing?
Yeah, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Joe. And I'll mute it, and then I'll walk back into the kitchen, I'll do my thing, and then I come back, and I'm like, oh, look at that, we're winning.
Yeah. In fact, Tom's better half told us a story on the way here that the miracle in the, whatever that thing's called, the Vikings, what's that play called?
That play, yeah.
Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
She stopped watching when the ball was in the air. Because she couldn't take it. Yeah, she walked out of the room.
Well, I mean, it was a hopeless play. They got incredibly lucky. I would have stopped watching the ball before then.
She missed the greatest play in sports history.
It's one of.
So yeah, I mean, we all got our little
crazy
crazy in us. Mine ramped it up more than I was hoping. I'm not proud of it.
Oh, I can tell you guys, I was 35% sure that something bad was going to happen inside the 5-yard line in Pasadena because of all the lost decade losses with Christian Ponder, Ty Jones, Marcus Sims, Jarman Fortson. I mean, I could name more.
He got mad at me. Can I tell that story?
Yes, sure.
He got mad at me. So once I don't think I said it to you until Rashad Green's play.
Yes.
So when Rashad Green's play happens and we didn't get the call on the horse collar, which they blew, it still pisses me off. Anyhow, so when that happened, I said, we're going to win. We're going to win the national championship. And he goes,
yeah, I would have said the exact same thing.
He couldn't believe that I said that.
Why would you put that out there?
Because I knew it was going to happen.
Just say, I think we're going to win.
No,
don't say it with authority.
We're going to win the national championship. Now, he is the byproduct of the lost decade. I had seen
He's
2
wounded.
championships, one while I was in school, another not long after, and I had attended both. So I already had those in the bank.
You ever think about there's a play in that when they were inside the 10-yard line.
The ball's tipped.
The ball is tipped at the line.
That ball got picked off.
If the ball goes 2 feet in any other direction, the game is over.
Yeah, no, that's the variable. That's the weirdness, right? It
hung in the air a little bit.
It did, and it landed. I remember being like, oh, my God.
Or if they don't call the PI on Rashad Green, it was clearly PI, but if they don't call that.
Well, there was another play. It was the screen to Devonta. And the defensive end comes back and trailing and makes the tackle.
Incredible play.
If Devonta scores on that play, there's too much time. 50 seconds left on the clock.
For that miracle team.
Right.
It's cool to relive those days, huh?
Someday again.
Let's just talk about that game for the rest of the show.
I will tell you, the show is ending here in about a minute for 2 reasons.
Is it really?
Yeah, 2 reasons. One, I'm going over to the basketball game, and 2, I've never had to pee this bad in my life.
Oh, all right.
Unless you just want to whistle.
This stuff doesn't make you do that, though. This stuff stays in.
Your beers are off camera. I was wondering why they haven't been consumed.
No, I'm not sipping them currently. I have got to go. Yeah, I gotta go. But I will say that. Do you have it now? Yeah. So it hit me about the 5:28 mark, and I was like, "Well, we got a long way to go.
Yeah,
this is problematic. I'm getting antsy." But we really did decide it was going to be until 5:50 today.
Because you're going to the basketball game.
I'm going to the basketball game.
It starts at 6, which is an odd time, but
it is a weird time. Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Questions? And so basketball season starts on Wednesday officially against Penn. Yeah, Ivy League.
This is a weird team, by the way. Florida State basketball this year, kind of backcourt driven, I think, and quick.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun team.
Yeah.
Caleb Mills.
Yeah, he's quick and good.
I'm going to watch him. Matthew Cleveland. It's going to be fun to watch that. Hey, listen, every time basketball season comes into play, bolsters your mood, right? You feel good.
Yeah.
This is back-to-back Sweet 16s. He's built a product that we can guarantee is going to be, at the very least, good.
So there's that banner in the Tucker Center that says 2020 NCAA tournament, and then it has like canceled or something on it. What would you, because you need to recognize that 2020
that team was so good.
And it was clearly going to the NCAA tournament. Well, it won the ACC, so it was going to go regardless.
Yeah, it's guaranteed, yeah.
But I don't like putting tournament canceled.
No, I would put tournament, yeah.
Couldn't you just put the year? I mean, people are going to remember.
I agree with you.
But it's cool to see those banners now. It's just nuts what they've done with that program. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I agree.
You could put Dick Vitale national champions because he called us the national champions.
Yeah, that's right. And I wrote an article each week.
And you give us the scores of the game.
Yeah, the scores.
You can put your scores up there of each one. You can have a poster.
So I had them as national champs too. They beat Louisville in the final.
By the way, you can tell us who the MVP was. We can put that up there. The whole deal.
It was who was the MVP? not Snare.
Trent Forrest.
Trent Forrest.
was MVP.
MJ Walker got hurt every game.
Trent was
but came back.
But Trent was so good in that postseason.
And Trent's playing in the NBA. He played against the Hawks last night.
He
Got real minutes in the fourth quarter against the Hawks. So that's cool, man. Scotty Barnes is incredible. It's not a basketball school. It'll never be a basketball school.
It's getting
but
there.
It's cool that they're good at basketball.
All right, that's it. That's all.
We're out. That's it. You really got to go. You want me to
really
hop
have
out?
To pee. Do you want to carry it?
No.
Okay.
I'll just start talking. I'm not doing that.
Listen, go Noles. Tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. Tallahassee game day. Myself and Tom Lang will be on Warchant TV and 93.3 Real Talk Radio as well, doing the pregame show from 9 to 11. And then after the game is over, Tom does double duty, and he'll be there with Gene, post-game call-in show. Of course, you'll get Corey's article about the game. You'll get Ira's article about the game on warchant.com. We thank everybody for coming out, and we thank all of you for watching, and we thank the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
And all the people that donated. Paul over there donated. Our man Paul. We appreciate everyone.
We do.
We're going to all get through this together. This is going to be a good program again very soon,
Thank you,
and
Paul.
we're all going to love life. Also, and the Braves, the World Series champions.
And I'm going to go pee.